What's up, guys? How's it going? It's Matt here. So first thing first, let me get started. Today is September 11th, alright? This day in American history is one of the saddest days in history. This day in American history is a day where terrorists celebrate across the country. This day in American history is what defined a lot of people's futures, including mine. This day in American history is the day when a lot of people joined the military. This day in American history is what started a war that is still going on right now. A war versus good and evil. So today, in remembrance of the tragedies of September 11, 2001, I'd like to ask you guys to say a quick little prayer. Let's get on to the video. So if I were to ask you guys, name one firearm that is mentioned in one single video will bring hate comments and like comments. Name one firearm. What would your answer be? That's right, it'd probably be a 1911. So I want to get into a 1911 video. Now, I want to lay it out there, guys. Now, I've said this before, you see it in my intro video. I'm not gun biased. I like all guns. You put any gun system, firearm system in front of me and I can probably run it, all right? I love striker fired, I like single double action, I like double action only, I like 1911 systems, single action systems, I like revolvers. I can pretty much shoot every single firearm that you put in front of me. With that in mind, there's a lot of people out there that absolutely hate the 1911, and there's also a lot of people out there that absolutely love the 1911. So before you guys all throw the hater comments nonstop underneath here and all the scientists come on there and tell me how much better than other pistols are, you need to understand where I'm coming from when I speak about this video. 1911s. Are they obsolete like everyone says? Do they suck like all the videos people say 1911 suck? Do they suck? Or are 1911s still a good pistol and a good pistol choice? During my time of service in the Marine Corps, one thing that I noticed all the time is, like, you know, for just average teenager that's a Marine, you know, you look at handguns, if you don't know that much about them, you're like, hey, there's 1911s, there's Berettas, and there's Glocks. You know, that's what you looked at. Every average active duty person, if you had a pistol, it was a Beretta. But all the special forces, all the operators, whereas Marine Recon, ODA, which I've worked with before, at the time when I was in service, the gun that they usually carried was a 1911. You know, the FBI carries a 1911. Their special forces, their SWAT team, SRT team, they carry a 1911. Some of the most well-known and recognized historic figures in military history and modern day military history, their backup pistol was a 1911. I'm not just specifically just going to preach 1911, 1911, 1911. I'm not going to preach 1911 this entire video. But I do want to talk about this a little bit because I understand all the arguments. I understand all the arguments about the 1911. You know, there's so many striker-fired pistols out there. I mean, it's a striker-fired saturation market. There's so many striker-fired pistols out there. There's many other 45s that you could use, like SIG 227 or a FNX, what is it, FNP 45 that has like 15 rounds of 45. There's the Glocks out there. There's all kinds of different guns that use the 45 platform. So why would you want to stick with an old platform like a 1911, which is kind of picky and, you know, isn't put together very well? I understand all the arguments, guys. And I know for a fact that a lot of 1911 companies out there that make their 1911s, it's like an assembly line 1911. They're just not put together the best, and they aren't the most reliable. But at the same time, a 1911 isn't a Glock. A 1911 isn't an M&P. A 1911 isn't a SIG. Now, some people will say the SIG 1911s is a SIG, not a 1911, but for me, it's still a 1911. It's like this, guys. You know, a 1911 system is not some system that you can just, like a, you know, an M&P or a Glock or a PPQ or whatever it is. You can just go shoot, put 500 rounds through it, bring it back, and not even have to clean it up, and then go back, shoot. You have to maintain it. It's just like an M16 versus an AK-47. An M16, you have to keep it clean, otherwise it's not going to function. AK-47, you still have to keep it clean or it's not going to function. Now, a lot of people complain all the time about 1911s. If a 1911 shows up in a operator tactical class, then they always fail. They don't work right and there's always malfunctions. Well, that's because you're putting a 1911 in a Glock or an M&P or striker fired class. Think about it like this. How many firearms companies out there make Glocks? One. How many firearms companies make M&Ps? One. How many firearms companies make any other type of striker fired pistol out there? Usually one. They make a specific type of model. Now, why is it then that almost every major firearms company makes a 1911. Why is that? Because the 1911 to this day is still a very popular and well used pistol. Now, like I said before, when I was in the military, in the Marine Corps, you either carried a Beretta or you carried a 1911. I've worked with ODA. A lot of people say that, you know, ODA, they only Glocks and stuff like that. I worked with ODAs, and during my time, my second tour in Iraq, when I worked with them, the majority pistol that everyone had was some sort of 1911 system. Every sniper that I've ever been around or talked to, the pistol they usually carried was some sort of 1911. Marine Corps Force Recon, right now, unless it's changed, they're still carrying the Colt M45A1, which is a specifically designed Colt 1911 for the Marines. The FBI, unless it's been changed, their tactical response team carries the Springfield Armory 1911 operator professional model, right? So a 1911 is still a very, very viable option. 1911s don't suck, all right? There are some 1911s that might suck. Now, I want to get into this because I've seen some of these people that they just hate 1911s with a passion. They will go out and talk bad about it, talk bad about it, talk bad about it, and then they will go out and they'll buy a 1911 to prove just exactly how bad it is. They'll take it out to a range, put 1,000 rounds through it, and it'll still keep going. It keeps going. And then at the end they throw the pistol and they're like, oh, thank God that's over. No, they threw the pistol because it didn't malfunction, because they couldn't prove their point. 1911s are not a bad gun. Modern day technology is great. Okay, modern day technology is put into a lot of these 1911s. Now, my next pistol, which I plan on getting, is going to be some sort of 1911. I don't currently own a 1911. You know, everyone's like, oh, well, how dare you talk about this video if you don't own a 1911? When I was in the military, there was one pistol that I always dreamed about getting nonstop. And when I got out of the Marine Corps and when I got 21, I turned 21 during my second tour, but there's one pistol that I always dreamed about getting. That was a Kimber Desert Warrior 1911. One of the guns that I've been looking at for years, which I actually love, that I've always been drawn to, is a Sig Sauer Scorpion 1911. Another pistol that I love looking at are any type of Springfield Armory loaded 1911s. They are really pretty guns. They're pretty guns. They're drawn to me, and I'm no stranger to them. Now, when I was getting out of the Marine Corps, my unit was getting ready to deploy again, and a lot of the guys that weren't going to be deployed again, we were fobbed, or what they called it, I don't remember the exact name of it, but we were taken away from our unit and put to like different administration units. Like mine, I was put a part of what was called TTECG Mojave Viper. I was part of the guys that grew out full beards, and we had a mount town behind 29 Palms, California, and we would go out there, we'd be training all the units that get ready to deploy, and it just so happens, one day we were out there doing the training, and they said, hey, anyone, we need an infantry guy, someone that knows a lot about firearms, and please have any volunteers. I raised my hand, and I was selected to be an armorer for TTECG Mojave Viper, which was our specific job was the AK-47s that we had in there. And anything else that was going through it. It was our job to take care of it, maintain it, and all that other stuff. So I was working in the armory. Now, when I was in the armory, it was a headquarters armory. This is one of the, you know, all the shooting teams, everyone else, they used this armory. It wasn't an infantry armory. One thing that I noticed, the shooting team, the Marine Corps shooting team at the time, specifically worked out of that armory from that base. They had these crazy M16s, these crazy M16A2s that were like chrome barreled. The things were like 20 pounds, and they were designed for long range shooting. And their pistols that were in there for the shooting team were customized 1911s, and they were freaking pretty. I don't know how many times when you're in the middle of doing nothing, you have nothing to do in the armory, and everyone's out shooting, that you just go out and you grab the 1911, you're sitting there messing around with it and playing with it. When I got out of the Marine Corps, all my friends that were prior Marine Corps or prior military, 90% of them had 1911. So every time we'd go out shooting, there was always 1911s, because I was always there shooting a 1911. I've shot Colt, I've shot Smith & Wesson, I've shot, what's the name of that, Para Ordnance? I've shot so many 1911s in my time, and I've always liked them. They always shot really good, and I've never had problems with them. I shot a 1911 so well, and that's when my pistol marksmanship wasn't the greatest at the time, and I still shot it really good. So 1911s are accurate pistols. They're good quality pistols. They're expensive, but they're still pretty good quality pistols. Now, I'm not going to compare a Glock between a 1911, because it's like comparing apples and oranges, all right? A Glock is designed to shoot and 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 shoot nonstop. A 1911 requires a lot more maintenance to be able to shoot and shoot and shoot and shoot, and then you got to do more maintenance and shoot and shoot and shoot and shoot. Don't even get me started on the accuracy issue. Accuracy mainly depends on the shooter. But let me ask you this, if you go to a shooting competition, pistol competition, what is the one gun that you see dominating so much of the competition? 1911s. So when it comes to the topics, are 1911s still a viable option, or do they suck? Yeah, they are still a very viable option. And a lot of people are like, whoa, there's not enough ammunition, all this other stuff. How many times do we have to get into this? A pistol is a backup caliber. A pistol is not designed for the main line of defense. That's what so many pistol people think. Oh, really? That's what so many pistol people think, that a pistol is the first line of defense. Yes, we're carrying pistols daily because we conceal them. But in a situation when you're deployed, your rifle is your primary. In a lot of special operations, their backup pistol is usually a 1911 because they like it. When they like how it shoots, it's accurate, and a 45 caliber in ball, because that's all you use in the military, is a lot better than a 9mm in ball. A lot of people to today still carry a 1911. Now, I'm not just talking about old timers and stuff like that. Young people, people I know all over the place, they carry 1911s. Now, for years and years and years, every time I go out to buy a new gun, I'm always drawn to 1911s. It's like a magnet. They just draw me in. I walk right over to them. I always got to handle some, got to mess with some. I like 1911s. Yet, every time I leave the gun shop, I don't have a 1911, specifically because they are very, very expensive. They are very expensive, and a lot of reasons why I don't usually buy them is because, you know, it's a big gun. It's just hard to conceal. It's not something you can conceal on a daily basis. So I usually go with something that I can actually conceal, or that's a little bit lighter, like my M&P or my SIG P250 or my revolver. I can conceal them a lot better than I would ever be able to conceal a heavy, big 1911. When I do get a 1911, which one of these days I will I carry it? I don't know. If I carry it, it probably would only be during the cold weather months, because I don't know if I'd put it inside the waistband holster. I just think it's too big for that. Yes, there's various size and makes and stuff like that, but for me, if I want to get a 1911, I'm going to get a full-size 5-inch 1911. So would I carry it? In the winter months, yeah, I probably would carry it. But for me, it'd be more of a gun that I just take out to the range and shoot. Now, with that in mind, there are some people that just like 1911s. Now, you don't ever hear me talking bad about other models. I might talk crap about, you know, some Glocks and stuff like that, but I'm not talking bad about the gun. I like the gun. I talk bad about the people that are pushing the gun and trying to make it seem like that's the only viable option out there. That's what pisses me off, is the people that push these specific models and just call out every other model because it's not their model of Glock or M&P or SIG. You know, that's what I don't like. Doesn't mean I don't like the guns. But 1911s, guys, 1911s are not that bad of a gun. It is a good quality gun. It is all over the place. There's so many people that have 1911s. I'm just going to throw this out there, guys. If you like a 1911, don't let anyone else tell you something wrong or say you're wrong for carrying it. Guys, it's your choice. If you prefer a 1911 over any other pistol, kick a 1911. Now, I'm going to say this right there. You're right, a 1911 is not for everyone. It is not for everyone. There are some people, no matter how hard they train, I guess for some reason they can't figure out how to take the safety off, so they will never ever carry a 1911, because why should they even worry about that when they can just carry something that doesn't have a safety? Because God forbid, you know, even training can't cure that. And once again, all these other, the people always push the same thing too. 1911s are always having malfunctions during these tactical classes, and you know, all the instructors hate 1911s in these classes because they just don't work as well as the Glocks. Once again, you're putting a 1911 in a Glock class. Now, when I say Glock, I don't necessarily mean just Glock. I mean striker fired class, or you know, a combat, what they call a modern day combat pistol is a striker fired pistol. You're putting an older system that requires more maintenance, requires different handling into a class that gives you guns that just don't require a whole lot of maintenance. As a striker fired pistol, yes, they handle great, and it doesn't require a ton of maintenance. But at the same time, the 1911 will do just fine if you know how to maintain it and you know how to shoot. When it comes to this debate, I kind of get tired of it. It's not one of those debates that I get tired of. I know it's never going to go away. People are stubborn. People are freaking stubborn. 1911s are not bad guns. They just aren't bad guns. They're good guns, and there's a lot of different customizations that can go into it, and they're all over the place. They've been in every major war. They're in a big history of America. It's part of American history is the 1911. Glocks are great too. M&Ps are great too. SIGs are great too. PPQs, whatever you have, they're all good guns. Now, just because you like those striker-fired guns, polymer wonders, doesn't mean that you have the right to go and talk bad about someone who likes their 1911, because for all you know, they can handle a 1911 better than you can handle your M&P or SIG. So stop trying to discourage people who specifically like 1911s. You know, there are some people that are just stubborn about 1911s. They'll call everything bad that isn't a 1911. Guys, guns are good. Like I said, this is a non-biased gun channel. I think you should call it that if that's even a word. I like all guns. They all have their purpose. You know, I could use any one of those systems, and I would highly recommend you learn how to use all those systems, because if you specifically stick to one model non-stop all the time, yeah, you may become a master of that model. What happens if someone throws something else in front of you? Where is your mastery now, right? What if you're in a war type of situation, without rule of law situation, and your pistol breaks or your pistol fails because it's a plastic frame or whatever it is, and then you find a pistol that you've never used before, and like, oh, well, how do I use this now? Or you get it, you're like, okay, it's a 1911 that's left over, but you know, I don't like 1911s. I think it should be a Glock. I'll just throw it down on the ground. Guys, learn how to use them. All right, learn how to use them. And remember, guys, for crying out loud, remember, pistols are not go-to-war guns. They are not. Pistols don't win wars. A lot of Medal of Honor recipients use 1911s, but it's not the pistol that makes them the Medal of Honor recipient. It's the person, the courage that's put behind that, the courage to rush a machine gun bunker with a 1911. That happened all the time in World War I, World War II. Guys, 1911s are not a bad gun. I like them. A lot of people like them, and there's a lot out there. And I almost feel bad for people that are so angry and hate 1911 so much. Guys, if you just picked one up and shot one, you might actually enjoy it. And then here's another thing, guys. Just because you have a 1911 doesn't mean you have to carry it. Hell, you can just shoot it. They're just fun to shoot. They're just really fun guns to shoot. You don't have to carry it. So please stop talking crap about all the other 1911 people, guys. Because, you know, in the end, guys, it comes down to what? Personal preference. Caliber, model, personal preference. 1911s are not obsolete. They are still good guns. Not all 1911s suck. Sorry, not all 1911s suck. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you really like the video, check out in the description below. You'll see my link to the Patreon. You can actually help support this channel. If you guys like this video, like, share, subscribe, tell your friends about me, and remember, guys, it's our responsibility to take care of each other and protect each other. Peace.